Do you think the GPU supply chain is less cohesive than CPU markets, as the prices were changing rapidly?
Just the opposite. It's a very open market. It's got lots of suppliers. No, I think it's a great market. It's robust. But I understand your question better now about the CPUs and so forth. And that's because when you buy a CPU, the only way you can buy it is in a finished computer. That's not true. You can buy a separate CPU if you want to upgrade your system. But those prices have stayed relatively flat. And I think that that's because there's no presumed correlation to mining. And I think that was the false motivation that got the speculators involved. Those speculators, by the way, have all gone away. They've disappeared. They're trying to get rid of their inventory now.
While the GPU prices are falling, Nvidia, Intel, and AMD still show confidence in the market and plan to launch new GPU products. What's your opinion on their market strategy?
Well, the demand is still high in all places, in the gaming sector, in the GPU compute, which is used for AI and so forth, in workstations. Notebooks are very, very popular now. So as long as the demand is there, then obviously Nvidia and AMD, who are fabulous semiconductor companies, have to ensure a consistent supply. That's almost a daily negotiation between those companies and their suppliers. And so both of them have used Samsung, both of them use TSMC, they've used them together, and it's just basically a place of finding source. So I say the strategy hasn't changed. They have their forecasts and they see a certain demand level coming, and they have to make sure that they can fulfill that demand. Because the thing is, if Nvidia gets soft and doesn't ask for so many wafers from TSMC and AMD takes them, and then when the consumer goes to the store to buy something, if there's only AMD products on the shelf, they're going to buy AMD. There's an old expression, you can't sell from an empty cart. And so they want to make sure that they're on the shelf when people go shopping.
On that note, could you also make some forecasts on the development of GPU markets in the second half of this year and next year?
I can tell you that we're forecasting the end user add-in board market from now until 2026 to have a very consistent 3.1% growth. It'll go up and down a little bit, but the average growth over those years we think will be around 3%. That's an important number because it indicates that demand is higher than the expansion of population. And typically markets will grow, but they will either grow because of some phenomenal development or they'll grow just at a steady rate as the population grows. Automobiles, for example, grow at population rate. Add-in boards are growing faster than the population is growing, which means that new customers are coming into the market. That's a very important sign.
Do you see a high increase in GPU for data centers or cloud computing?
It's definitely there, but the volume is much, much smaller. For every data center graphics board that's sold, 1,000 consumer boards are sold. The data center boards sell for anywhere between 3 and 10 times more than a consumer board does. It's one of the reasons the volume isn't so high, but volume is dramatically different. The data center side is definitely increasing. It's got a really nice growth rate to it, and everybody's happy about that. And that's due to the flood of data that is being buried with, and also the development of AI. But in terms of unit shipments, it's nowhere close to what consumer electronics are.